Hi again, Jeff Wallen and Jennifer Wallen, my wife.
Hi, welcome back.
Welcome back. So we are mysolaradvisors.com. And so today we are going to talk about commercial and a few other items or ways that you could use solar besides just commercial. But I do want to talk about commercial because it's extremely important. Why is Walmart and Whole Foods and FedEx, the distribution channels everywhere, airports, Carnival Cruise Lines,
schools.
Yeah, why are they going solar? You know, I mean, obviously,
Fire department.
Their accountants know more than most people.
Car dealerships.
Car dealerships, you name it. In fact, more of them are going to be going solar because so many cars are going electric. So, like I said, you can charge your car off your roof. You might be the only one on the road if the power goes out for a long period of time because it's charging off your roof, not just a power station that's charging up off the grid. So, we have some added protections of having solar on your roof to be able to deal with that. But businesses need to stay in business, and they want to save money, and they don't care. They don't care as much about aesthetics. But I'm going to talk a little bit about aesthetics there too. There are different ways to save money in commercial, and one of the most important things is commercial has almost all the added benefits that residential has. They have the ability to use the tax credit money. More so than that, they can use the incentive and tax credit money, but they can also, they're certain, depending on the state you're in, and I'll have to look at what state you're in, but in South Carolina, they're able to use their full purchase price and depreciate it based upon in the first year, it used to be like over a multitude of years, so in the first year based on their tax base. So there's different ways. So you're actually...
That's any state, by the way. What he's talking about is a depreciation tax. So whatever tax bracket that commercial business is in, if you're being taxed at 21%, which most are, 27, whatever it is, take the cost of the system, multiply it times that 21% or 27%, whatever tax bracket you're in, and you can use that depreciation, that amount, all in the first year. What Jeff is talking about is used to you had to spread it out over 6 years, but now they've changed the rules. So federal government, any state can use, or any commercial business can use that depreciation tax all in the first year. So you can use the federal tax credit, which is currently 26%, the depreciation tax credit all in the first year, and then what he was talking about is South Carolina has a state tax credit, which is currently 25%. So a commercial business in the state of South Carolina can use all three. So depending upon what state you're in, if there is still a state tax credit available, if we don't already know, we'll find out. We'll find out what it is, and commercial will be able to use that as well.
Yeah, usually you're in the black at least in South Carolina, you're in the black and usually 3 to 5 years. So in most states. So the nice thing is that it doesn't take any time off your back and it doesn't cost you any money with most companies to get a proposal.
Yeah.
You want to go with somebody who's been very experienced with commercial.
Yeah.
You don't want somebody who's using plastic zip ties, like I said. You want somebody who's using the stuff that's not going to break and crack over a few years. If you have a flat roof, if it's a business where you have a flat roof, they use a ballast system, which is just weighted and on sleds, and it's most systems, almost every system, even residential, is wind resistant, 130, 140 miles an hour. I mean, if there's a hurricane or something, it'll probably take the roof off before it takes the solar off. And we used to live in Colorado, and we'd seen houses with concrete shingles that were the flat, heavy-duty ones, and ripped off.
Concrete tiles, not shingles.
Concrete tile.
I know what you mean. I'm just translating, so the concrete tiles, so out there, we would get wind bursts over 100 miles per hour. And we noticed one time as we lived in Broadmoor, we're coming down out of the mountain, the homes that did not have solar, everybody was getting a new roof replacements everywhere. The folks that did have solar, even the roof sections that didn't necessarily have solar panels on it, were still intact. It's almost as if the solar helped you disperse the wind. So contrary to what most people might think out there, solar actually helps to protect the roof. You're going to get longevity out of that roof just by having solar on it.
Yep. On top of that, they'll actually reduce your energy consumption because it's protecting the hottest part of the roof. You're wanting to put it on the part of the roof that's facing the sun directly. And so you're actually reducing your energy bills at the same time by protecting the roof, or the part of the roof that's getting the most sunlight. And so it'll help protect it in many ways, but also reduce your energy consumption, your energy bill. But the ballast systems, so the weighted systems, they only weigh about 3 pounds per foot. So it's kind of like putting a puppy on every foot. It's not going to do anything to your roof. There's that, but it makes a ton of sense. So the way that these work is that instead of you running a business, you're so busy taking that time, the business that is going to do a proposal, their CAD engineering team is going to do all the work, and then they're going to sit there and talk to your accountant or your CPA and show them how much money, short-term and long-term, or whatever, that they're going to be able to save you on your bill. And so then your accountant is going to go, well, you should really take a look at this because it makes a whole lot of sense financially. If there's an issue where you're a restaurant, you haven't been in business that long, it might be a little bit of an issue because restaurants are tough to get financing for. But if you've been around a long time, you have a large, big warehouse type of business or whatever, that kind of thing, it might be a whole lot easier. The biggie for you and the biggest benefit to somebody, especially if you have multiple tenants, is that you could do a new lease agreement with your tenants and say, look, if y'all agree, I'm going solar and I'll keep your energy bill level, so it's not going to ever go up on you. That's a big deal to say. If you're going to sign a lease with me for this long, I'll make sure your energy bill doesn't go up on you. I'm going to keep it right here. And they're the ones paying, if they all agree upon it, they're the ones paying off the solar system. Yeah. That's nice. So, when energy rates have gone through the roof, and at a certain point, this thing's paid off by your tenants, then that's just gravy. And do you think they're going to leave your place of business to go to some other warehouse where they're having to pay a lot more money in an energy bill because of how high the energy bills have gone up? Yeah. That's just stability for you.
Just like in residential, now you've added value to your commercial property.
And so when it's time for them to take a look and move, and upgrade, they might think twice and just say, hey, I might get a small place over here and keep this place here because my utility bill is so low here, and over there it's this much more money. And or if they move, I'll get on you because guess what? You get charged them a little bit higher dollar value because of what the energy rates would normally be on that space. And then you're actually getting a lot more money for rent. And the person that was there last paid it off for you. So you were able to take advantage of the tax credits and the incentives and things on your business. Like I said, most businesses are in the black a lot of times in 3 to 5 years. So your accountant can look over those numbers with whatever company you're talking to, or 2 or 3 companies, get some advice. And then, and a lot of times the companies that do commercial, they really know what they're talking about. I mean, to me, let me tell you, I know, and I talk to certain companies and I feel like a kindergarten. I've been doing this business for a long time. And I feel like a kindergartner in a college classroom when it comes to commercial. But we'll make sure that you get in touch with somebody that's done a lot of commercial and has a good reputation. Incidentally, if a residential installer has done a lot of commercial and they do big jobs, they might be willing to do a better job. They're doing a better job in your house because they're not so worried about losing future business over a few bad houses. When it comes to when they're doing, multi-million dollar jobs over here.
They're going to care more about their reputation, absolutely.
So we'll make sure that they've done a whole lot of commercial, that they have a really good reputation in the commercial industry, and we'll make sure that we look at references. Yeah. So, talk about the commercial. If you have any questions in commercial, give us a ring or send us an email again to info@mysoladvisors.com. Or also think about other things. Like we've had things like hunting camps, or I hate to say it, but there's campgrounds or zoos. I mean, there's so many places where they want to run power, but it's so far from the power station. If you've got some land way out there and you want to farm it, you might want to use solar power to use for farming. Because if you're way away from the nearest substation, you might want to look at doing lots of batteries or generators to store up the power and run your own power grid. Because if the power grid goes down and it's not pumping the water pumps that are spraying your stuff, then you could have crops that die. I mean, there's a lot more risk there than just paying off a solar system that eventually is going to save you money, you're actually protecting yourself at the same time. If you're a
Chicken
farmer,
farmers, pig farmers. I grew up on a farm. My dad farmed 3,000 acres, and this is certainly something that he should have looked at a long time ago. But yeah, absolutely. And there are a lot of government incentives out there for folks that do have land. If you're within, say, a mile, maybe a mile and a half of a substation, holler at us. Send us an email, info@mysolaradvisors.com. You may be able to make tons of money off of that land by allowing the government to put solar on it. So let's definitely take a look at that.
There's that. People talk about windmills. There's moving parts. They're not as they break down a lot. We've had people replace their windmills with solar panels. But the reason I brought up the hunting thing is because I had a customer at one point that he had 6 or 7 different cabins on some land that was out there, and he was going to have to run a line, miles and miles to get power to those cabins on his land. And it could be for anything. It could be for a community center or whatever, that kind of thing. And we found out that putting some solar power generators out there would do more than the trick, and not having to be tied into the grid. So there's different ways of doing that without having to spend tons and tons of money running tons of miles of cable. So, make sure that you get in contact with us with any questions. Again, we'll try to look at your situation on an individual basis. Again, 2 websites to remember, www.mysolaradvisors.com, or you can email us at info@mysolaradvisors.com, or go to the main passion for us is, and if you have some equipment, some things you might want to donate and upgrade your stuff or whatever you want to do, go to www.rescuerays.org, RESCUERAYS.org. Thanks.